Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome Robbie Thielemans to Creatives in Lockdown conversation with Robbie Thielemans. This is part of Wandsworth Arts Fringe 2021. Perhaps you've seen his work already when going to a concert, visit YouTube, seeing the Oscars. Well, Robbie Thielemans is a master of engineering, science, and audiovisual expert. Hello, Robbie.
Hello, good morning.
Well, when going to a concert, I must admit, I go for the performance, but what brings memories is really the complete experience with visual effects. And I think you must have been made this possible. Could you tell us about your path into the audiovisual industry and your achievements?
Okay, first of all, it's not only me, it's a lot of people who make it happen. But indeed, the screens are a big part of it. Technology development and making things was always my thing from when I was very, very young. I was sponsored by my grandfather, and he gave me all kinds of materials to build and make, and it made my father really upset because everywhere in the room, in the house, in the garden, there was stuff I was making or building. And then after a while, after I graduated from school, I started studying civil engineering. And at that time, my hobby was already electronics. So I did my major in IT, informatics, to become better at it. Then when I left university, I really had to work for Barco, big company in Belgium, technology company working in the visual industry. And there I started as a developer. And at the beginning, I thought all the developers, people who made boards, were kind of gods. They made something new, and but after a while, I found out these were just people like me or everyone else who work very hard and try lots of things and make stuff happen. And I think after a while, I got very good at it, and I started working at the projector division. But that was not enough. I wanted to make own stuff. So I started developing LED tiles at my place at home. And suddenly this company had a product, because with the engineers I had there, we developed a product. And basically, I can honestly say that we developed a new market, because we made the first modular LED displays. And if you are modular, you can be more creative. If you have one module, you add more modules together and you could make a big screen. And finally, that evolved. I think my strength is more in combining new technologies into existing market, meaning that what I develop is not pure academic, but it's a combination of something that is new and can enable new markets pretty fast. So basically, that's my story. And I'm doing that for already more than 30 years, I guess. Yep. Yeah. So here we are.
So you made this possible. The spectacle for the performance.
Yes, you can say, like some of the tours you saw in the background, if the screens weren't there, people wouldn't have seen the performance anyway, because there's so much crowd, like the one you saw there, Robbie Williams at Networth. There's so much crowd, they couldn't see Robbie Williams without the screens.
Yeah, and as you said before, COVID-19 that didn't kill creative, but the means to make it happen. And I'd like you to tell us about it. What is the reality behind the screens?
Well, as we all know, there's not a lot of tours, not a lot of concerts anyway. And I work together with lots of rental companies. And these people, they buy equipment for producing and doing the full tours. And this equipment needs to generate revenue. But if there's no touring, there's no revenue. And lots of people have invested in equipment. And they're not going to invest in new equipment while still there's lockdowns or lots of restrictions on shows. So we have to wait at least a year, 2 years before there's funds available for doing real new stuff on the events part, on the entertainment part. On the other end, there are some new opportunities more on the high end, but the means really for doing new stuff, creative stuff, entertaining people is not really there anymore. It's the live entertainment is gone. Now there's a lot of focus on studio work where you have 1 or 2 actors in front of an LED screen, and the LED screen showing the background of the supposed city they are. That means a lot of high-end stuff, processing to make the screen look as good or real as possible on camera, so that in fact you don't notice the screen, but you see the surroundings.
Yeah.
That is going on, but it is not the huge work that used to be. So I'm focusing on generating new, let's say, IP knowledge to make the screens look better, even in studio applications, and maybe some spin-offs later in the events industry.
But so this with lockdown brought challenging times, but also these opportunities for you to new projects, to learn some new things.
Yes, but the opportunities are driven by a little bit knowledge of the market and your own effort, whereas before the opportunities came to you, or the creative people who wanted to do new things came automatically to you, where now it's more a push. Hey, I can do this can look better. Where before people had these crazy ideas, and then you had people who had the money, and with these creative ideas and the money, I could combine in something that is within the budget, okay for doing the show. And now it's completely upside down. So it's a lot of investment and time from myself, and not necessarily from the market anymore. So that has really, really changed.
Okay.
On the other hand, even, and that's the weird stuff in the COVID industry, is that the electronics industry now, with everyone working from home, the demand for electronic components is extremely high. So we even have lead times of more than a year for building new stuff. And that's very, very strange in this situation. So it's like driving a car, you give lots of gas while hitting hard on the brakes every time.
Okay. Well, it's interesting to know a bit about this and about what you do for work and what makes the spectacle in the events, and hopefully, well, next year, the end of this year, we still can go and enjoy a festival. Do you think that can be a reality soon?
I think that will be a reality soon indeed. But as I said, for me or for the industry, they will use it with equipment they've bought, so that at least they can generate money and pay back the loans they needed to have for retaining all that equipment for more than 1 year, 1.5 years without doing anything, or at least very minimal.
Yeah. And you also the creative mind behind your consultants company, right? Stereo. And I find it so interesting, the logo that you have there. That is a puzzle butterfly.
Yes.
Yeah, it showcases your passion for innovation and design. Could you tell us about it?
Well, the butterfly is for me something that stands for beauty, elegance. And it also stands for me to the birth of something new, which then links to creativity, making new stuff. So the left side of the butterfly is like the blocks coming together.
Could I interrupt you and show the audience what I mean?
Of course.
Just a minute. This is the logo, yeah. So sorry, you can continue.
So the left side are the blocks that are coming together, and this represents a little bit the LED tiles, the creative stuff, the ideas that come together and make something beautiful. So yeah, that's the story. Maybe it's not a very technical logo in my industry, but I like it very much because I think technical stuff doesn't need to be boring. It can be very, very elegant as well. In French, they say on mange aussi avec les yeux. So the eye also needs something nice to see.
Yes, but that brings also a curiosity, because showing a puzzled butterfly, it is also something that when, for example, you go to an event, when you have the chance again to go to an event to see a performer, an artist that you love to go again after this lockdown, you will be enjoying the experience and this spectacle, that the LED screens, the displays, the equipment that you make, I think, and you, Matthew, you with your team,
It's not. It's nice to work and create, but believe me, when we do something new or I'm involved in some new project, the first show is always a nightmare. I cannot enjoy the first show because you know so many things, so many details that can go wrong or that work. And after the show, I'll be standing there, and usually it's okay. So you're very relieved everything goes well, and then you fall asleep like a block because most probably you work 24/7 the days before.
But Robbie, what do you miss most? Because you have your studio at home, your company is at home, and sometimes you put you work on a project together with sometimes with your family, you said once, and that they help you also. But you are there and you are not involved with the show yet. You know what's going to happen. You give these ideas. You got the idea what to make it for the project, but what do you miss now in this lockdown?
What I learned in this lockdown is that I do value personal contacts more than I ever admitted myself. Meeting people in person is a completely different story compared to online or Zoom, because you can read the people, their mimics, they're part of the communication. And further, it's very difficult to be creative in a Zoom or a Teams meeting. Creativity comes with interaction, and the interaction is, in my opinion, too limited. Another thing I miss is the adrenaline.
Yeah.
It's a love and hate story, but if I look deep down in my soul, I think I'm an adrenaline junkie. So I need stuff to work for and go for it and make it happen. And that's really miss.
Yeah. And I think everyone needs that, because the adrenaline to go and enjoy a concert, a show, and be out there and listen to music and have fun. We all miss now, I think. Well, I think that's it. I enjoy talking to you, and I think you gave us another perspective of what happens behind that spectacle, what makes it memorable. Thank you.
I hope I did. Thank you very much for the opportunity, Claudia.
Now, thank you for coming here, and I hope you all keep enjoying the festival, the Wandsworth Arts Fringe 2021, and listen to our next session. Bye-bye. Bye, Robbie.
Bye.